obviously coming off of a bye week is really interesting. You've had two of these this season. It's something that happens every once in a while, but not all the time. How do you go through the season knowing that you have two bye weeks? And in this second bye week, what type of approach do you have getting ready for the final 3-game stretch?
Yeah, it's unique for us, or at least for me and my staff, to have those two bye weeks. But I think it was perfect timing for that first bye week for us to settle in and regroup. Uh, we kind of did more of a recovery training routine, gave them some time to recover and rest, and focus a little bit more time on football and doing that. Then the second bye week, obviously coming off of three successful weeks, you're probably got a better uh, you got a better mindset going into it. So we were able to hit some heavier weights and get some good training in uh, to give us some room for that back end or the final part of the push of the season. So it was unique, but it was actually helpful for us. And I think the timing couldn't have been better.
Coach, does a game like that TCU game where you get to the fourth quarter and, Baylor's just moving people and you got Bryson breaking a lot of tackles, does that make the strength and conditioning staff really excited?
Yeah, if you saw us on the sideline, that's those are the ones that you work all summer for an opportunity to close out and push people around. And if nothing else, goal line stands and are one of those things that strength coaches tend to, pound our chest and poke our chest out for. But definitely those long runs and those pushes when the whole team is, almost looks like a rugby scrum or something. Yeah, those are cool. And we're on the sideline screaming and yelling and getting fired up.
Yeah. So into that, obviously your strength and conditioning position plays into the off season so often and obviously in season, but you have a role on game day. What exactly is your role on game day? Is it just motivation? Is it getting the guys excited, or what is it like?
It's different for each coaching staff. Some coaches are louder than others, and some allow us to be those voices. I, Me and my staff are an extension of our football staff. So when you may not hear the loud volume from Coach Aranda and some of his staff, we kind of are that extension or microphone that yells for him. Uh, on game day, we get the guys warmed up, we get them primed and ready to move from an athletic standpoint. But then once they go out there and play, our role is really kind of on call if we need to keep coaches back. There's a lot of that, and there's some guys that are are really kind of teamed up with certain coaches that are pain in the butt to keep off the field. Getting guys to stay focused. We're walking up and down the sideline, making sure guys are locked in, and energy. Obviously, if you had an opportunity as a fan to be on the sideline and kind of be yourself and scream and yell and cheer and motivate, that's kind of what we have. And so, yeah, game day is sometimes hard because if it's tight and there's a lot of pressure, keeping guys back is difficult. But other than that, it's enjoyment, and it's really the true passion, just being able to have fun and be goofballs.
This offseason, there were some changes at offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator and some other changes, offensive line coach as well. Did that have y'all change your focus at all during the offseason to kind of adapt to those new changes?
Yeah, so I've been doing this for 20 years now, and I don't think I've ever done the same program twice. Um, it, I tend to design based on what the coaches need. So if you have, these are extremes, but if you have a no huddle offense, you're training your athletes differently than if you're running a traditional I formation, and you're taking that full recovery, you're getting in a huddle and you have more time. So we kind of build based on the coaches' offensive styles, what type of tempo they run. I wish it was as easy as lifting weights and running. And a lot of times that's your starting point, but you have to build based on what the coaches need and where the players are in their current state. But yeah,
Absolutely.
having different coaches affects training.
So 10, 20 years ago, you bring in freshmen, 3, 4, 5 years, you get to develop them, obviously depending on scheme, like you're just talking about. But now you have the transfer portal that you're bringing in guys from all different areas. How has that changed your philosophy, and how do you get them on the same page quickly to get them ready for not only the offseason, but for the season as well?
Well, it's a good question. I think we're all, man, I say all of us strength coaches are, especially on the college level, are still figuring that part out. I think the thing that doesn't change is the targets that you're trying or the goals you're trying to accomplish are still the same. Guys have to have strength and they have to have flexibility and they have to have power. What we've kind of done is met them where they are. If there's a guy that comes in from a program that has done a lot of Olympic movements, we don't have to spend as much time teaching him. So that's at times been a benefit. If he's never done it, I don't have the luxury of spending a year making sure his technique is proficient enough. So we may have some adjustments with him, but he still has to get stronger. So if I've got to adjust our program to meet him where he is, well, we have to do that, unfortunately, because of the short time. But it hasn't been an issue because a lot of us around the country are doing the same things. But meeting them where they are, I think probably talking to a lot of friends of mine in the NFL has helped because guys change teams often.
Y'all got a new Fudge Development Center, which is pretty cool. And I think that the whole football program in general is obviously going to be helped by that, but specifically strength and conditioning. I mean, the largest weight room in the country, you got a lot of other features, but what's the one feature that you and your staff are kind of the most excited about and going to utilize the most?
It's a gigantic, beautiful room that allows us to do our job more efficiently. We're still learning. We're still learning the room. A lot of times you get used to how the layout is and reaching over, making sure you don't smack yourself in the head with a bench or a bar. Now in this room, there's so much space. We've had to figure out ways to you want that small gym, almost dungeon-like mentality when you're training hard. And this room is so nice and big and roomy that we've had to adjust how we do it, kind of slide guys to one side of the room. Like I said, we're still figuring out, but really everything is pristine and I mean, I don't think I would be in a better place. I can't think of one thing that we've had that makes it better than others. It's just newer. We got some cool toys though. We have some dumbbells that are spinners. So our assistant strength coaches enjoy that because typically they have to flip the weights so the logo stands up at the top. Now that we have these spinner dumbbells, they're pretty cool. They don't have to flip the weights a lot.
We actually had a conversation with Eddie Lackey, former Baylor linebacker, last week, and he apparently had a big kick out of that as well. I don't know the exact situation, but he mentioned that and was really impressed. And obviously, he's been into bodybuilding and everything since he got done, so he was very impressed with the weight room. But with all of that, one of the fun things that fans like to track, and I know you guys have access to, are the GPS system and tracking miles per hour. Are there anything through this point in the season that you've been impressed by, that you've seen, or one performance from those GPS systems that's really stood out to you from one player or two?
Yeah. So right before you guys we got on, I'm printing out or I'm creating reports. Each day after practice, I'll create some reports. We'll have the GPS units we'll pull the data from those, and then I'll run some reports that I'll bring up to the coaching staff. But one of the cool things is our guys are really getting faster, and the acceleration numbers and the quickness from that standpoint, they're continuing to climb. And I think that allows our coaching staff or Coach Aranda to make decisions that are better than in the past. When you're winning, everything's good, guys are moving well, but when you're not successful, a lot of times you can get frustrated. But we're able to see where they are from a physical standpoint and make real-time adjustments. But right now, our guys are getting faster as the season progresses, and I think, it's good that I can go up to the coaches and tell them that we got more in the tank, and it's time to go. Time to go pedal to the metal with 3 weeks left.
Very cool.
I know you mentioned speed, but is there any other kind of measurable thing that y'all look at the end of the season that evaluates your performance that you find to be, I don't know, the greatest measurement for it?
Yeah, well, right now in strength and condition, my ultimate metric is wins and losses, and that's what we're measured by. It was different when I first got in. You were kind of evaluated based on how much you increased his bench press or back squat and how much faster he got. And really now it's about performance. And so if a guy increases his bench press, but he doesn't perform on the football field, we're held accountable for that. So I think, times have changed, but for us, it's still about winning football games. And if it shows that by us making adjustments real time, because there's so much technology and information now, not only GPS, we have devices that allow us to measure the bar speed on when they're doing exercises. So we're basing their weight choices off of the velocity of the bar. We have force plates that when they come in, they jump. We can see imbalances that, if a guy's got an injury on one side of his body, he's going to protect it. And maybe he's a tough guy. He doesn't want to tell us that, but the technology shows us that information. And if he's got an issue with one leg, instead of making him do those back squats that day, we might do a single leg movement that'll give that injured leg a break. And you get those guys back quicker than in the past when you would have to wait till after the season's done and then make big time adjustments and hoping that it fixes the problem. Now you're getting real time information, and if you have enough pieces that are saying make a change, then it makes us allows us to comfortably make those changes real time.
Coach, a lot of great information today. Really appreciate your time. Good luck this weekend in Morgantown and safe travels to all you guys.
All right, guys, sick 'em Bears.